Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? This is Ask Aries. As always, I am Aries Edge, going over a bunch of stuff with you tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me for one moment, of course, I have to go ahead and do the thing where I have to get the link and I got to copy it and I got to send it out into the ether. So everyone, that's forgotten that I'm doing a live video, well, then know that I'm doing a live video. So here we go. So this is what I'm doing. Got to actually get into the stupid thing. It's going to echo for a second. And there it is. Holy cow. Copy the link. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, because that was obnoxious. How are we doing this evening? It is Friday, the best day of the week. We're going to talk about a slew of things. We're going to talk about customs. We're going to talk about Pauper. We're going to talk about 12 Days of Clixmas. We're going to talk about the newly announced European Wizkids Open. I'm going to have dogs open the door behind me, apparently. We're going to do that as well. So let me get this all posted up, get this thing rolling, and we can go from there. How is everyone doing tonight? You know how we do, Aaron. Aaron Cantu, thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Let's get this work. Holy cow, got to post so many things. I'm juggling so many things. Create a post for copy and paste it. We're pasting it. We're publishing it. There we go. We're in. Now we take this one, bada boom. And now we go here. We take this. Yep, bada boom. We're going to share it. We're going to say, nope, not love. We're going to say live now. We're going to flop ski it right over into one of the old pages and share a Rooney Dooney. I got to go change my phone, but I'll try to join again in a few. By all means, it's going to be a long one. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of people have had some conversations with me throughout the week. I've got some good questions. I've got some good information to pass out. We've got tons of stuff to talk about. Let's put in some work tonight. And then one more. We go live now. And it's shared. And we're done. All that's out of the way. First and foremost, let's get right into it. The meat and potatoes right now. I got something really special to show you. I've got a pretty amazing tray that was made by Jeremiah Peterson. For those that have not seen Jeremiah Peterson's work, where the hell have you been? Are you living under a rock? I think you probably are. Anybody who is using a tray these days, I'm going to say probably 70% of them is something that has come out of Jeremiah Peterson's hands. So I gave him the basic layout. Hey, I go by the name Aries. I like bad guys. I want some villains. I want something cool, but I also want something that can fit a lot of figures on it. And now I'm looking at the tray that I've got here right now. I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can fit 15 normal size figures on this tray. I can fit 4 giant sizes on here if I want. I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can fit 6 double bases if I want. Plenty of spaces for tokens, cards, dice, and anything else that I want. Without further ado, let's show you the Aries Edge piece of work that was done. But the best part about it is it smells great. So, of course, you have the straight at the top because I am straight edge right here. You got the good old Deathstroke. You've got Aries doing work there. Looks like we have the Legion of Doom at the bottom here. We got a little bit of Bane going on down here. Looks like you have like the Mad Hatter, I think, off in the distance as well. And then, of course, it wouldn't be villainous if you didn't have Lex Luthor. This thing, a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be, too. Again, like I've said, smells fantastic. I love the smell of wood. That sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. And just to show it off a little bit, I mean, the figures, they fit in there perfectly. I mean, boom, boom, boom. You don't have any worries. I mean, look how far I have this thing tilted. And I don't have to worry about this bad boy falling out at all. These things slide right in. Down here at the bottom, this is how they fit. They fit right into the old corners. You can fit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, down at the bottom, your big boys and things like that down there. If I had any with me, I would go ahead and I would do it. And then again, also, I'm putting together my pauper team. So I got some coins. Let me see. Oh, look at that. You throw a nice biting vine in there. You throw another biting vine in there. Bada boom. They slide right in. They're great. Boom. Another biting vine. What's that? You want a stone harpy? Let's throw a stone harpy in there. Boom. You got a stone harpy. You want one more stone harpy in there? Boom. Stone harpy. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, Maxie Zeus just took a dump off the old desk. All right. So let's get back to some other business here. Big shout out to one of my buddies, Peter Cernick. For those that don't know Pete, he is a guy who I've been trading with for, I think, almost 2 years now. He lives in Bratislava, Slovakia. So he's done a lot of fighting. He owns his own business out there, of course, because he is a nerd like the rest of us. And he go ahead and he does his miniatures and things like that. So he is hosting the Wizkids European Open. This will happen November 22nd and through November 24th, 2019. Again, it will happen in Bratislava, Slovakia. If you go to the Wizkids page, there is sections on travel and accommodations. They talk about the Heroclix main event, the Dice Masters main event, the special side events, and the event schedule itself. So, just to give you guys a heads up, Bratislava is the capital of Slovakia, and as a friendly reminder, they use the euro for currency. So if you're going over there, don't have American dollars, have euros. You'll be flying into the Vienna airport, which is in Austria. It's about 60 kilometers from Bratislava with shuttle buses connecting in both cities. So there is a nice way to get there. They depart every 30 minutes for you to get there. So, but I'm sure you don't want to hear about travel and accommodations. You want to hear about the main event. The main event is going to be on November 23rd at good old 1600, which is 4 p.m. our time. It's 15 euros to enter. It's 300 modern, as always. It's going to be a multiple Swiss rounds followed by a single elimination cut. I'm going to assume it's going to go based on what their turnout is. So the winner is going to get a 2019-2020 Heroclix National Championship qualification, and they are also going to get a 2019-2020 Heroclix World Championship qualification. They're also going to get a factory set. All pricing is cumulative, as always. So top two, the second place guy is going to get a 2019-2020 National Championship qualification, and they're going to get the Heroclix Chase and Prime set. Top four, they're going to get the slew of con exclusives that we've already seen this year, which is, of course, the Asgardian Rogue, the Phoenix Force Thame, Ambrose Chase, Leandra, Kyle Rayner, Bombshell Raven, Storm, and Superman Prime. Also, top 8 is going to get all of those redials like Gladiator, Hussar, Manta, Black Dwarf, Isaac, etc. And then, of course, top 16 are going to get all the Mandarin rings on top of Corvus Glaive, Spear, Proxima Midnight Spear, and Exospec. So, again, very good selection of stuff out there. They do have a Dice Masters main event, but this is not a Dice Masters chat. So, but they are doing a Dice Masters main event. On top of that, for their side events, they are also going to be running, where is it? I just saw it. So they are going to be running a Heroclix 300-point pauper format constructed on November 22nd. So the pauper format is even jumping overseas to Europe. They're embracing it as well. Multiple Swiss rounds, prize structures to be decided. They're also going to be doing a 300-point modern age sealed event. That's going to happen on the 23rd at 9 a.m. They are going to be doing 300-point modern with the Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix Saga X-Men stuff. And then, of course, the side events, they are going to be doing battle royals, and they are also going to be trying out the skirmish format as well. That is going to be minimum players 2 to 4. There is no draft style. Pairing structure will be battle royal. It doesn't say what day this is going to be on, but they are going to be doing the skirmish as well and giving feedback on that. I know that a lot of the feedback about the skirmish was good. We've got 4 people watching. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have any comments or concerns, go ahead and throw them up here in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to have a conversation about it. So what else did I say that I was going to be covering? We talked about European Wizkids Open. I showed off Jeremiah Peterson's amazing tray that he sent me. Again, thank you very much. Customs in general. I'm kind of surprised. So we've had people for many years now doing customs. People do the tokens. I mean, obviously, I believe I got these ones from a guy named Chris Capron. He does stuff in Rageous. Is his company. I've gotten stuff from Critical Hits Customs throughout the year as well. There seems like there's a lot of people who go out there and they do customs, and it's usually a lot of times it's just bystander stuff. And then, of course, Wizkids jumped on top of that. What other custom stuff would we like to see as players? I don't want them to jump into the trays. I think the trays need to be left alone. Don't touch my trays. Leave it alone. Line of fire tools. Would we like to see some Wizkids line of fire tools? Some licensed line of fire tools? I don't know, maybe. I mean, what other real customs do we have out there? What are some custom things that we see out there? So I'd like your feedback on that. What would you like to see Wizkids do? What would you like to see them make customs of? On top of that, what else did we have going on in the Wizkids world? 12 Days of Clixmas. We are doing the 12 Days of Clixmas again. And when I say we, I mean myself and my fiance. It was her idea last year. She wants to do it again. I think it's a fantastic idea. So for the 12 Days of Clixmas, if there is anybody out there who wants to jump on this with me and who wants to donate anything for the 12 Days of Clixmas, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on the Facebook at Aries Edge. You can reach out to me at AriesEdge2626@gmail.com. We will be doing almost the same exact thing last year. Last year, it was like funniest thing that happened at a tournament. This year, we want your funny stories just involving Heroclix, period. And we are going to be open with those stories starting December 1st. So, as always, we will be, talking about sponsors, who we have that is donating product, who we have that's donating their art or their craftsmanship, and so on and so forth. And once we have more information, we will be letting you know who is joining on to help out with the 12 Days of Clixmas. I'm sorry, Stacy and Carrie, but you guys will not be able to participate in this year's 12 Days of Clixmas as you won last year. So in the spirit of fair play and giving, you can go ahead and submit a story if you'd like to, but you will not be qualified to participate in this year's 12 Days of Clixmas because you won last year. And we've had so many great stories since then of Stacy thinking that the Colossal Fist is a tombstone. And now with WWE Heroclix, I am surprised they didn't incorporate that in there somehow and gave the Undertaker the tombstone symbol for some reason. So 12 Days of Clixmas is going to be happening. And once we have more information on that, we will be sharing. Stories can start piling in on December 1st. They will only be eligible if they are sent to AriesEdge2626@gmail. Last year, it was a nightmare because as soon as I opened it up, I had 50 messages to my Facebook Messenger. We're not going to do that this year. It was too messy. I had to scroll through and try and find stuff on top of all the other chats that I have going on in there daily, being an admin and being on some of the other pages and so on and so forth. So AriesEdge2626 at gmail.com is where you can reach me for those entries into the 12 Days of Clixmas. So we've covered Jeremiah Peterson's awesome tray. We have covered the 12 Days of Clixmas. We have covered the European Wizkids Open that is going to be in Bratislava, Slovakia, being put on by my good friend Peter Cernik. We have also had a question. Somebody had the question of how do I get my child into playing Heroclix, and what has your experience been with your son playing Heroclix? And all I can say is that it has been fantastic. My son, I was playing Heroclix before my son was born. So there are times where I had my friends over at the house, and he was so young that he would just be hanging out and he would just enjoy watching us play the game. And when we laughed, he laughed, so on and so forth. Now, not everybody is going to be a prodigy like Isaac and be 14 years old and go out and win world championships and things like that. So for the longest time, what I did is my son got into Star Wars minis is what the first thing he got started in. So we played Star Wars minis for the longest time. And we played around the time when Star Wars minis was kind of going out. So we could get boosters at like Target for like $6 a booster. So what we would do way back when he lived in Connecticut and I had him, every time I would have visitation with him, and he would be at my house for the week or whatever it is. We would go to Target after school and we would each grab like 2 boosters. We would do a booster draft the first night and then we would do a booster draft the next night. And that kind of got him into playing a very simplified miniatures game. And he knew that game better than I did. And then when he became more mature and he wanted to, travel a little bit and watch tournaments, he was there when I won my Rhode Island State Championship. Didn't say anything. He just wanted to sit and watch and hang out. And he picked the right day to come and hang out and watch Heroclix because I ended up winning the championship that year. But it's something that it's a bonding experience. Everyone has their thing with their kids. And if this is something that you want to share with them, by all means, but go slow. Don't try and overwhelm them with all the intricacies and the details and things like that, because you'll lose them quickly. They will lose interest and they will kind of just follow it to the wayside. My son, he moved to Long Island. And so that kind of put a damper on how often we could play Heroclix. But whenever he comes up to Connecticut, that's the first thing he wants to do. He has a whole toolbox sitting here. It's full of Deadpool and Deadpool style Heroclix. He owns just about everything Deadpool, of course, except for like the new chases and things like that. He doesn't play enough. And I wasn't buying into that set back when it came out because I just wasn't buying Marvel then. Marvel didn't appeal to me. They were just kind of cramming Captain America and Avengers style sets down our throats. And they're kind of still doing that in a sense. But so I didn't buy into it. And I told him flat out too, hey, you don't play Heroclix enough for me to go chasing after these chases. And he understood. He's like, yeah, no way. It's like, not if they're $30, $40, $50 a piece. There's no way getting them just so I can use them, 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks out of the year, which made sense. So, but I mean, it's weird. It's weird being a parent because you have to walk that line between being a parent and being his friend. And it's even weirder now that he's going to be 16 come December, because now we have these conversations. The other day, he caught me off guard. He was up in Connecticut and we were driving somewhere and he was talking about football. And he's like, oh yeah, it's just bullshit and this and that. And I kind of snapped my head over at him and just looked at him and was quiet for a second. And we locked eyes and he just looked at me and he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, mom lets me swear. And I was like, oh, okay. That's a whole different ball game then. All right, cool. Let's lay down some ground rules. We laid down some ground rules. There are things that you don't say ever, in just ways you don't say things ever, and you don't ever swear at me. So these are the list. This is the list of words that I don't say and I don't expect to come out of your mouth ever. And if they do, you and I are going to have a big, big problem. and I don't swear at you, so I would expect you not to swear at me. So we kind of got on that same page. And ever since then, it's been weird. It's been like a whole nother world of parenting, to where I can almost have like casual. I don't have to always be like, buy the book, dad. Don't say that. Don't do this. Don't do it. And now it's like the communication, it just happens. Like, you don't have to, like, I don't know. It's just weird, especially not being around him as much as I'd like to be and as much as I used to be. So I see there's 2 of you out there. Do you guys have any questions, comments, any topics that you want me to cover? Is there anything floating around there? We have Pauper coming up. We have the Rock Cup coming up. Rock Cup has a couple different formats this year. It's not the usual Rock Cup that we are used to. They have like a 2v2 sealed event. They have like a WWE sealed event. They have a teams. They have the world event, which I guess like their world event now is sealed. They have, of course, their like super bronze age sealed or whatever they call it, where like they have different like bags that you choose out of. And like this bag is all pre-carded stuff. And this bag is like boosters from this time set to this time set, which is a pretty cool concept. I enjoy that. I know that it's not going to work everywhere. And sometimes if you pull one of those pre-carded boosters out, it's like, oh, cool. I got the indie set. Hopefully I pull a boon or something like that. Of course, we also have the Pauper Rock State Championships coming up in November. New London Sarge's Comics on November 17th. Connecticut will be holding their Pauper State Championship event. Doors open at 10 a.m. The event will start at 11 a.m., hopefully on the dot, just so we can get that thing moving along. That was one of the big points too. That was kind of a hot topic the last state championship. I've gotten feedback from multiple people who ran events, is that there are people who are upset that they actually had to stay. What's up, Jeff? There are people who are upset that they actually had to stay the entire event to get their product and to get their prizing. Well, yeah. This isn't a Wizkids Open. It's not a predetermined, this is what you get. See you later. We're drafting. So you have to wait until the draft. If you leave or you can't stay, I've already put it up on mine. You forfeit your product. Go home then. See you later. Good. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you being here. But you should be also, you should be kind of weighing out your time. Like, all right, I know it's a Sunday and we're trying to get there early. We're going to I'm going to give you guys as many opportunities as you can to get as many rounds in and to get as much play in as you can. But you also have to remember too that there are people there who are going that want to win. So if you don't make the top cut for 8 or 4 or whatever the case may be, you have to stay to the end to draft your product, because it's not fair to now put the people who are up in the top cut on the hot seat because you want to skedaddle and get out of there because you don't feel like hanging out and staying around. Well, I'm sorry. It says right on there, it's going to be drafted. The pricing will be drafted. So you got to stick around. Stores are not obligated to be shipping out your winnings and your prizing and things like that. Sure, you could pay for it, you could do this or that, but then what happens if it comes in the mail and it's broken? You're going to expect some sort of like a refund or something. No. We're not doing that. If you come to a tournament and it's drafting prizing, you should stay to the end. If you don't stay to the end, you forfeit your spot. The person behind you now gets bumped up. That's how we're doing it in Connecticut. I think that's how they're going to probably doing it for a lot of different venues, especially with the fact that we're going to be drafting Batman the Animated Series and we're drafting Secret Wars Battle World. There are no BoxCon exclusives in this round of state championships, as you can read it on the Rock website and things like that. They are short on the 2019 con exclusives. So to make up for it, they did the Batman the Animated Series Prime and Chase set. And on top of that, they also added a Secret Wars Battle World Prime and Chase set. The maps are going to be there, action tokens, dice. That's all going to be there as well. I'll be doing that draft style in New York. Well, again, that's what the consensus was. So the problem, all right, I'll air it out here, seeing as how this is my little live show that I do for 2 Clicks from KO. I'll go ahead and I'll air out my grievances. So I had a group of people that came, and they were from Connecticut. So as many of you know, I'm friends with Kenny Pena. Kenny Pena lives in the tri-state New England area, and this was his first time coming up to Sarge's Comics and Games. He wanted to check out the venue, because Wizkids employees do that. They will, from time to time, travel to check out venues and see how they run things and see how the store looks and see how things are broken down. So the last one we had, it was the Mighty Thor and BoxCon LEs and so on and so forth. And it said right on the Rock website, this will be a draft format. Well, there are some people who are a little butthurt and a little upset over the fact that they wanted to leave and they wanted their prizing. And I basically told them, well, no. And they were like, why? Why can't I get my prizing and go? Because it's draft format. Because some of these guys that are playing right now, they might not want certain chases. They might want primes. So I polled the room. And there were a couple guys that were like, yeah, if I win or I place top 4, there are some chases I don't want. I would much rather pick Prime Odin, or I would much rather pick Prime Angela, or so on and so forth. So I told these guys. So I polled the room. I walked around. There are two Massachusetts guys. They dropped their prizing and said, nope, I don't want it. That's fine. Which jumped 2 other guys up into the mix. And they were ones that were leaving. So I said, okay, these are the 2 primes that you can choose from. Well, what about the other stuff? I said, the other stuff's all spoken for. The top 8 guys have all shown interest, depending on where they finish, in these figures. The only 2 figures, and there's 2 of you, that these guys don't want are these 2 figures. So grab a figure. You can go ahead and get out of here. Well, what happens if they change their mind? And you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be here. If you want to stay, you can stay, and we'll do the draft properly. If you don't want to stay, this is what we're offering. Well, I'll be more than happy to pay for shipping, and that's great. I'm not shipping anything. Because then what happens if it gets lost in the mail? What happens if it gets damaged in the mail? What happens if they deliver it to the wrong door and then you never see it again? There are too many variables. You're here now. You should be planning your time. Wow, that was loud. You should be planning your time accordingly. You should know, hey, I'm going to a state championship. I'm going to a Heroclix event. This is going to be an all-day thing. So, disclaimer, again, now that it's even going to be bigger for the fact that there's, 16? We're going to end up prizing out top 16 people because you have 12 chases in the Batman the Animated Series, and then you have 4 primes. So the top 16 people are technically going to get prizing. So if we cut a top 8, there's going to be 8 of you that are going to have to hang out, or you can take off. But again, as I posted up on the win, and I've posted up on the invites and things like that, we will be doing battle royals. We will possibly have X-Men the Animated Series products still left over for battle royals. So stick around. Get your prizes. Go home happy. But I don't want to hear you complaining if you show up and you don't want to stay for the whole thing. Go home. You're going home empty-handed. We're not mailing stuff out to you. It's not going to happen. It's draft format. It's been up for a while that it's draft format, and that's the way we're going to keep it. So, if you don't like it, move it along. People heard that a lot at Worlds this year, especially because people were posting up their X-Men pre-release stuff, basically. And of course, everyone had to have their 2 cents in on prizing and on pricing and on so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. It's tiresome. Jeff, what do you got for me, bud? I know you're still out there. What questions do you have for me? I know you all are out there. I mean, other than that, I mean, I've basically hit all the topics. We talked about customs. We've talked about the European. I'm super excited. I'm glad there's going to be a European Wizkids Open, kind of like national champion. Basically, it's a national championship. If you look at their structure and you look at the prizing structure, and it's a full weekend, it's like if they're going to call it the European Open, it's a European championship. It's like a Wizkids Open on steroids. Basically, it's what it is. Super happy that Pete got it. I'm super happy it's going to be over in Slovakia. Peter Sternek's a great guy. Been trading with him for many, many, many years now. 2 years to be exact. But other than that, like, if you want to be involved in the 12 days from Clixmas, reach out to me. Let's coordinate. It's October now. We have October and November to talk out the details, and then we're going to start taking submissions on December 1st of stories and things of that nature. I mean, if nobody's got anything else to talk about, if there's no hot topics, there's no dirt people want me to talk about today, there's no drama for a change. Nobody, wants to bring up, any of the scuttlebutt that's been happening or anything like that. I don't know if there has been or not. I'm out of the loop for a change. All right. With that being said, then, it's a quick one. We kept it inside of 40 minutes. I'm surprised. So, again, to recap, Jeremiah Peterson does great work with wood. He handles wood with the best of them. I would suggest, if you are looking to get a tray, I was always a skeptic. Am I actually going to use it? Is it going to be one more Heroclix custom thing that I'm never going to use? I'm a believer. Now that I have one in my hands, I will use this thing every chance that I get. Watching people use them at Worlds this year in Memphis, and myself navigating around stuff in Memphis. Yeah, I will use this thing all the time. Again, European Open, Bratislava, Slovakia. Super happy for them. What else did we talk about? 12 Days of Clixmas. Reach out to me. Let's make this an awesome one. Send me your funniest Heroclix story. If you want to send pictures to go along with the story, add them to the email. Send your stories to AriesEdge2626 @gmail.com. My fiance will be picking out the funniest story. Do not send them to my Facebook Messenger, because last year it was a nightmare having to go through that and figure out what was just normal conversation and what was people's submissions. So submissions for that will go to the email, AriesEdge2626 @gmail.com. If you have any other questions that you want answered on the Ask Aries live cast on the 2 Clicks from KO YouTube page, then by all means reach out to us at 2 Clicks from KO on our page. We have an email address as well. I believe it's 2clicksfromko @gmail.com. Reach out to me, Aries Edge. Reach out to me at AriesEdge2626 @gmail.com. Please like this page, subscribe, hit the bell for your notifications so you will be notified when we post up any live conversations or when Aaron decides he wants to stream stuff, because he's very good at streaming. And when he has events, he does stream. So without further ado, this is going to be it. This is Aries Edge signing off. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend. Go Pack, go.